because of what others said about me until I knew who I really was and whose I really was, which is yours, Lord. Now nobody can shake me.
Stop bringing God into shit. I hate when people do this shit, bitches or niggas. Oh, that was me then. I'm different now. That was me in the past. Don't judge me. I didn't know any better. Bitch, I've been knowing you since I was a little boy. Little tiny boy. And today we are reacting to India Love is realizing she can't outrun her past. Video by Omizi. Guys, your past does matter, and I hope Omizi goes into in-depth as to why. I know he's not like a Red Pill adjacent channel or anything of that nature, but he does give like good takes, so let's get into this.
I'm told you get wiser, and for some content creators, that comes later rather than sooner. India Love took to the internet and delivered a special message that got me kind of intrigued about her past and how this involves other content creators and specifically people that just deal with the internet in general.
I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot in my teenage phase. I went through a lot in my 20s. I made a lot of mistakes, and there was a lot of people who drugged me through the dirt for it. And I believed it for a long time. I wasn't nice to myself because of what others said about me until I knew who I really was and whose I really was, which is yours, Lord. Now nobody can shake.
Stop bringing God into shit. I hate when people do this shit, bitches or niggas. Oh, that was me then. I'm different now. That was me in the past. Don't judge me. I didn't know any better. Bitch, I've been knowing you since I was a little boy. Little tiny boy. In not elementary, but like middle school. Because this girl's always been popping on the internet since she was like a teenager. So I must have been like, like elementary school. Because she's like, what, 30 now? People gotta stop acting like they're running out of time by the time they hit 30. 30 is still young. 30 is still young. And no, these are not... let's just continue the video.
Most people don't know this, but India Love has been in the public eye for 15 years.
15 years.
The Vixen era, the celebrity relationships. Now she has influencer visibility. But now she's streaming. And it's not just about seeing an Instagram photo and then disappearing. It's about having your life evaluated 24/7, 365. So she decided to give her life to Jesus, but instead of people giving her some sort of sympathy, they decided to question the validity of all of it. If you're new to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way for us here in this Any and All Matters internet related. You know her, you love her. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you again, Danielle.
MSW is bringing this girl on the stream.
Is going on her transformative journey.
Okay.
Her new righteous path.
All right.
And we got to break down the math and the science on it.
Yeah, you know I stay with my sisters, so.
I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot in my teenage phase. I went through a lot in my 20s. I made a lot of mistakes, and there was a lot of people who drugged me through the dirt for it. And I believed it for a long time. I wasn't nice to myself because of what others said about me until I knew who I really was and whose I really was, which is yours, Lord. Now nobody can shake how I feel about myself. Nobody can change how I feel about myself.
All right, so apparently there's two sides to how people are perceiving this whole issue. There have been some comments about, this is the aftermath of those hoe phases that women be going through in their early years, and this is the same playbook.
Playbook?
Yeah. You remember Brittany Renner?
Yeah.
Brittany Renner went through something similar to this. First she found Jesus, then she found Allah. She went Muslim for...
People lie. People lie. But patterns don't lie. Patterns don't lie, my nigga.
Second with Kevin Gates, and then
work either, so I get it.
Now she took the hijab off and got a job, but everybody's been going through this same phase that's come out of like the video vixen era.
I just think the internet in general, and by the internet in general, maybe I'm actually generalizing to just society, too harsh on women, too harsh on girls, too harsh all the way around. So one, I don't know too much about Brittany Renner in real life. Don't know too much about her. I see she's...
You know she trapped PJ Washington?
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, well.
Okay, Drea.
Oh, now she trapped Jalen Green for sure.
But this whole, this is the game plan. This is her life. Like, what she said is true. She has been drugged through the mud so many times for so many reasons.
I mean, yeah, but two things can be true at the same time.
I don't think this is a game. I think it's real life.
Now, there's another side of the conversation, and I think that we may agree.
Why, you gotta ask, why are people dragging her through the mud? It's not because she's a pretty girl. India knows she's pretty. The world knows she's blue because she's pretty and who she's been with. But it's like when you present a certain type of image and then you want to turn around and say, "Oh, forget about my past." No, this is the image you presented, so you can't get mad for how people are treating you. That's just own up to it.
More of people that see India Love, hear India Love, feel India Love, and reference some of like her past transgressions and are saying to themselves like, you know, what she's going through is real, kind of like what you're saying.
So India Love is, you know, she made a video basically being like, I was groomed. India Love, me and her are the same age, I believe.
And groomed, that's wait, let's switch up the definition of groomed. What does it mean to be groomed? To be groomed means to be targeted by someone who uses deliberate, gradual process of manipulation and trust building to exploit you, most commonly for sexual or financial purposes. While grooming is often discussed in the context of children and teens, it can also happen to at-risk or vulnerable adults, such as those who are socially isolated, have disabilities, or have dependent care situations. From what I can tell, India it doesn't seem like she's isolated. It doesn't seem like she has disabilities or independent care. She's not a victim. Can we stop trying to coddle people? She's not a victim. She knew what she was doing.
Correction. I need to fix something. I originally said she wasn't groomed. That was me skipping the timeline. She was around 15 to 16 when she first blew up online. If adult men were pursuing her during that time, that fits the definition of grooming. Grooming means an adult builds trust with a minor to exploit them. If that happened, that is on the adult, not her. Now here's where I separate it. Being groomed at 16 explains vulnerability. It explains exposure. It does not automatically explain how you move at 23. Two conversations. Minor exploitation, adults fully responsible, adult behavior. You are responsible for how you treat people once you have agency. So I'm not walking back accountability. I'm correcting the timeline. If she was exploited as a minor, that deserves clarity. If she mistreated people as an adult, that still deserves accountability. Both can be true.
It was my
36.
So when she started actually fucking with celebrities, like it was like a thing. She had a boyfriend who got in a car accident and they was together to like, they were locked in. And then when he went to college, they broke up. Or yeah, they broke up while he was in college. I can't remember all the details, but she was one of the girls who had like a steady boyfriend all of high school. And then when they broke up, that's when she started, you know, dating. A lady, quote, her tweet of India kind of crying about being groomed and said, well, this is the whole phase that y'all advocate for. And I don't like when y'all do that because I feel like when people talk about whole phases, it's clearly talking about sexual exploration so that you can figure out what you like as an individual. If you like me and you start kissing my neck, I'm gonna really get it going. But if you also my skin tone, you will know that you can't let motherfuckers play in your neck too long, you're gonna look crazy, right? These are things we learned.
Shouldn't let them play her neck at all.
And we got in the field with people our age who are also exploring themselves, not with grown-ass men who was fingering us in the park when we was freshly 18.
Okay.
You see what there's a difference. There's a difference between two 18-year-olds canoodling and an 18 and a 34-year-old. And y'all know that. And so that's why it's like, y'all be knowing what y'all doing and y'all know what people mean when they say the things they say and y'all willingly be obtuse just to prove your point that never is gonna hit. And really the people that try to defend it, like, oh, she was 18, she was an adult. I know what you are and my eyes are on you. Yeah. So go ahead.
Part of the reason why I brought you in here is because when we live together and we have matching sweaters. But the other part of it is the fact that like there is a difference in how young women and young men are socialized in this context and conversation. An 18-year-old boy going through the same things that India Love went through when she was a youngin' wouldn't have gotten the same labels as she got. Just full stop.
I mean, look at Rakai, look at Young Dabo, look at the types of girls that they're dealing with.
Sky Blue.
Okay, so I think you should be.
You got the ice.
As much as people want to kiki and haha and point the fingers and all this other stuff.
But they still be putting like these young ass niggas around like grown ass women who be sexualizing them and shit.
About her. That's just the reality of the facts. She was early to the social media game as a young, fair-skinned woman, and that naturally attracted a lot of male attention from rappers who couldn't date or wouldn't date women their own age. I think what people on the internet, though, fail to realize is that at some point, though, people are going to grow up and realize that the things that happen to them in the past weren't okay. But what I see a lot of people on the internet do is they kind of like, I don't know, continuously and unfairly blame children for making children decisions. And I do find it interesting when people use the word children to give an excuse for an action. And then when they don't extend that to something that's most likely similar, or maybe the action in and of itself is different, but this person is still a child and the decision is ultimately childlike. So I do find it weird how they're willing to make like an 18-year-old India Love. I've even seen people say, oh, she was 21 when that happened. Why are you so quick to make her an adult as opposed to, I don't know, making X streamer over here who's 16 a kid and their decision making? And then also simultaneously not holding the adult men who continue these things accountable for their actions.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That's like, oh, well, she was 21. That is over 18. Do people know that just because something is legal doesn't mean it's right?
Mind you, she wasn't over 21. They made her 21 in the message. Like in the retelling of the story, they make her older than
Something, but doesn't she have agency over her own decisions? At 18, no right from wrong. You know what I mean? We can't act and paint her as some type of child or some type of victim. 18, you're considered an adult. You know what I mean? Now I get it, we make mistakes, but we can't turn around and say, oh, I've been groomed. Like, come on, that's crazy.
Simply due to the fact that they want to like excuse the behavior. And every time, what's that thing? It's like when you go on a fishing trip and every time you retell the story, the fish gets bigger. Every time they retell the story, her wholeness gets bigger.
People also hate women. It's true.
Not me. And there's some other people extending some support for it.
No, people are holding her accountable. They don't hate women. This is
India Love as well.
okay.
So a video of India Love crying just came across my For You page, and y'all know I've spoken on her before. When another clip of her talking about, you know, a bitch turned 18 every day popped up on my FYP. But in this video, she showed a side of vulnerability of herself that I genuinely related to and appreciate. What
To me, it looks like
India
crocodile
was
tears. I ain't buying that
expressing
shit.
Basically, like, you know, she went through some trauma, which, you know, a lot of beautiful women do. Because rather y'all like to admit it or not, there is a downside to pretty privilege. There just is. Like, there's a downside to everything. That is the law of the fucking universe. Polarity, duality. But what really made me sad is that
Buzzwords.
a lot of beautiful women get caught up in just their looks. I speak on this a lot. Okay? Where you feel like just because you are a beautiful woman, that is the only thing you have to offer to the world. And that's what she was basically saying. She was like, for a long time, you know, I would have things I wanted to say, but I didn't have the confidence to say them because she didn't know what she was good at. And to me, that is motherfucking crazy. India could easily start a clothing line. I think that out of all the girls, that is the girl.
So
India can easily start a restaurant.
She's actually passionate about fashion. You can tell.
You could easily start a research lab.
Sometimes the support isn't the way that we would word it.
Also, what's this support?
Hey.
Don't make me mad.
Shade disguise?
It's getting a little weird. And maybe the intent was good. That was not it though. Because what? First and foremost, there are downsides to pretty privilege. You know, beautiful women get traumatized. And y'all think conventionally unattractive women don't get traumatized?
No, but it's different.
And you know, you get targeted because you're pretty. No, you are not being targeted because you're pretty. You're not being targeted because you're petite and a size 0.
It's the way you're presenting yourself.
Because,
And that's just a
gosh, where is her waist? Or
territory that comes with being on the internet.
What leave out? Oh my gosh, what wig? Where is it? You're being targeted? Not because of anything you did, actually. It's on that person who's doing the targeting. Let's turn it on.
I think it is stupid that at least the way that it seemed that she was trying to infer is that the baddies get targeted exclusively, or
and so non-baddies should be targeted.
Non-baddies are good. But what I will say is I think the concept of her saying that like she's reduced to her looks is an interesting thought process, simply because India Love said the same sentiments in that conversation, that she felt like she was reduced to her looks, and she probably needs to do some more therapy. Others around you may have reduced.
I don't think therapy is gonna help her. It's just gonna self-soothe and validate her and not tell her things she needs to work on, which is her self-esteem. Her self-esteem is extremely low, just as low as a simps who over-pedestalizes girls. I always use simps as an example because simps, it could be both guy or girl, but usually you're referring to a guy when you call someone a simp because they over-pedestalize someone and they usually put someone else's needs before their own. at the expense of themselves. And India Love is doing that within a different way. She's doing shit for the male gaze. And then when the male gaze bites back at her, or she tries to turn over a new leaf after making these poor decisions, not mistakes, these decisions and choices, and wants to turn to God, then people have every right to question her. No one's dragging her through the mud. I mean, sure, there might be a few weirdos who are doing that shit, but like, people are just asking you, like, weren't you just doing, you know what I'm saying? Weren't you just doing all this? It's crazy.
But it's something that naturally you would lean into as a child. I don't know.
I mean, if you're being given all of this attention for your looks and for nothing else, I don't know. That makes sense. I am valued for when I'm the video vixen. I do get the attention and the fame and the clicks and the likes when a picture of me half naked is up. But then when I do talk about, oh, this kind of seam is the best when you're designing this dress, it's crickets.
Yeah, because every time she does open her mouth, people don't take it seriously. Now, for what it's worth, we're still talking
because she don't say
it.
anything that people actually want to consider or think about. It's just like bird brain shit.
Conversation.
Where did that line come from, though? India Love could start a fashion line.
She could start a podcast.
Is there some secret skill I've missed?
Yes.
Okay.
I do want to ask you, where does the line between understanding and excusing come from in the conversation that these two sides are having for India Love?
I would personally say that there is no excusing. Because who am I? Truly. Well, I know who I am and whose I am. But what are people talking about where I can't excuse her actions? She was a child. She was groomed. The only person who's to blame in any of this
is her.
So these grown men that be hanging around these children. That's 18, 21, all of that. They're the ones to blame.
So I think the reason why people can't even get past this, though,
girls typically,
like you said,
the thing is, girls typically go for older guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this is a general rule, but like, look, come on. And she knew what she was doing. Can we not try to paint her out as to be the victim? Like, yeah, you can say these guys are weird for dealing with girls who are 18, 19, who are like babies or whatnot. But like, these are grown consenting adults. Let's not act like she was groomed or she was naive or didn't. No, not. I'm sorry. You can't convince me that was the case. She just had very low self-esteem and she liked the validation that she was getting from these guys. But now that she's getting older and she feels as though she's hitting the wall and doesn't have like the things that all her other peers who are probably married or have kids have, she feels as though it's over. No. Stop this shit. Stop.
They were adults and now she is an adult and she's wilding out being the mean girl 30-year-old on like DDG's Love Show.
I remember that.
To say any young lady was wrong in what they said, okay? I'm just saying I came to play a role. My role was to intimidate, was to poke the bear, was to, sprinkle
her trying to justify it.
in which I did in my own form and fashion, which was inspired by Miss New York. So if you feel like it was very nasty or whatever, it was nice nasty. I'm admitting it was nice nasty. That was what
Nice nasty. I always use this as an example and people laugh when I say this. It's like saying I'm a vegan but I eat meat. You can't be nice and nasty at the same time. And nasty in the sense of like being rude and disrespectful to people. I think she said some girls' breath smelled on the show.
Girl, that tongue is white. Stop it. What? Okay, I need to go. I'm sorry.
Supposed to do.
Breakout Streamer of the Year went to Adapt, and congratulations, and we respect
this
you.
This is completely unnecessary
but
too.
Rakai should have won Breakout Streamer of the Year. And
Pick me girl energy.
Okay, what y'all say? Shout out Rakai, shout out. Blah, 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 blah.
So people see a 30-year-old India Love still playing the mean girl, still being a pick-me in the eyes of a lot of people, specifically in this new era of streaming, how she's hung around these younger guys and done whatever. And then they've also seen this pattern of these celebrity women who have, and I should probably say celebrity, but I should say video vixen, Instagram model women who have gone through this change and then haven't really changed.
Patterns don't lie.
Another grift. And so they have a hard time believing that like an India Love can be the next person who actually does change. And that's why they're giving her as much grief as possible when it comes to her realizing that she went through, as the internet said, a quote-unquote hoe phase. Yeah, what is a hoe phase?
Well, I'm trying to figure that out. What is a hoe phase?
I think a hoe phase is when you have a lot of sex.
With different people? With the same person?
Can you be a hoe to your partner? Never mind. At what point does somebody's history outweigh their present actions? Like, why do we feel the need to hold everyone's past against them forever?
Again,
because the past is a predicator of someone's future action. So if someone was a cheater in their past and they cheated on multiple partners, who's to say they won't cheat on you? You know what I mean? It's just risk mitigation. It's like, why am I going to deal with someone who has a past? And it's important to know this, to know who the type of person I'm dealing with. Why am I going to deal with someone who has a past that I don't necessarily like or don't want to tolerate when I can go for someone who doesn't have that? Like, if you have your past, it doesn't make you, I'm not saying your past defines who you are, but your past is a predicator on the balance of probabilities of how you're going to behave going forward. There's a lot of undealt with, unhealed trauma that the person has not dealt with. So guess what? You work on yourself. I'm sorry, I can feel compassion for you. I'm sorry you went through what you went through, but I'm going to go with someone else. And I'm well within my rights to leave. I won't judge you. I won't ridicule you, but I'm going to deal with someone else. I'm not obligated to deal with someone who went through a whole phase. What the fuck? Otherwise, I'm basically putting my standards aside to make you happy, and that's people's pleasing. That's people pleasing. Come on.
Everybody's past is held against them. But I do think there's a level of like holding grace for somebody. Like,
yeah,
recognize someone has been traumatized and how that can then play a role.
But I ain't they superhero.
Today, they decide to do what they say, how they say it. So I think that's one, like being able to recognize that trauma.
I agree.
There's been a lot of talk about trauma-informed care and therapy and all of these blah, 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 blah. But then what does it look like to go to something that's more peace-centered? So instead of saying like, you were traumatized and this is why you act the way you do and you'll always act like this and trauma is the focus, how do we say, you were traumatized? We're seeing how it's playing out.
But how can we do better?
That doesn't have to be all of you. So I think that's where people need to make it to, especially for women and for women of color.
I mean, the internet is forever. So especially in like a casual sense, people are always going to remember you. It might not be all people, right? But it'll be some people who were there during that time. Everybody who knows India Love today wasn't there for the eras that we're talking about. Like the young lady described when she first came on the scene and she remembered that she had a boyfriend. Everybody wasn't there for that era. Like I said, everybody wasn't there, but somebody will always be there to remind you, and those that were there for every step of the way, it's going to be hard for them to forget and forgive. Do I think that that's right, though? Because we don't know these people? Not really. I think the fact that we get like glimpses of these people and we do pass such harsh judgments on them is a little bit strange. You can be in conversation and be like, whoa, she got another boyfriend. Okay. But as soon as somebody's like, she's fucking slut ass bitch, me.
Yeah. That I don't agree with. You don't have to go to that extreme. So it's like, come on, bro. Just don't even engage.
Isn't if I point out that a few of us probably have a few India loves in our lives, our personal ones. Wait a minute, and maybe are an India love.
Now, I will say one judgment that I do have is that she said it on stream. Streaming to me isn't the platform for that type of, let's say, revelation. A couple reasons. One, clip culture is out of control. The way that these people take these clips and
out of context,
put different, captions and stuff on them. I know it's good to be vulnerable with your
You know what I
audience,
found out too? And this goes to show you how dumb people are nowadays. A lot of people, I can even show you guys a stat on this too. A lot of people don't even like look at the full context of things. They just read headlines and believe it to be true. So how many people read headlines? Only read headlines. Approximately 60% to 80% of people read only headlines, with data indicating that over 75% of users share articles on social media without clicking or reading the full content. That's absurd. But in the case of India Love, you don't really need too much context. But you do have your weirdos out there who will take shit out of context and like string clips together to make it whatever narrative they want to make it. It's weird.
They see it as content. They see it as engagement. They don't see it as anything true and serious, so they're going to take that and put it.
Quick side note I want to point out.
The audience now thinks that like everything is a script and everything is fake. Everything is not true. Everything is just like some sort of money grab. So she could be going through some real shit, just as we've seen over these past couple of months with like Kai saying that he's gone through mental health issues. Some other streamers have been saying that they've been like physically sick. Their uncles have died, all that other stuff like that. But they can't share with this audience because they think it's some sort of performance. I think it's performative.
Now,
and this is why you gotta show the real you. A little exaggerated at times, but don't be too much of a jokester and someone who's like a clown, because then you attract clown-like audience who don't take anything you say seriously, especially when it's time for you to get serious.
Too much about streaming. Is some of that not on the streamer? Like, do you not cultivate a certain kind of audience? And if now the audience that you cultivated is going to accustomed to an audience member.
I think that that's a fair assessment, but that's why I would also continue to argue that like streaming wasn't the platform for her to do this on. Like her being public, doing this, and this is where for me, I'm not gonna like.
And this is where the low self-esteem thing comes from. You can't go to your audience online about every single thing. Go to God without announcing that you want to turn over a new leaf and, oh God, you know what I've been through and all this other stuff. Like, no. Go to God. Go pray in private. Go to your family. Go to a trusted male source. Does she have any male people figures in her life that I know she probably has her dad in her life, but go to a strong figure, men and women who will actually hold you accountable and actually tell you shit that you need to hear rather than shit that you want to hear. That's actually how you begin to change. Not through comforting lies, not through validation, not through none of that shit. Because at the end of the day, validation is temporary.
Because you're just living life in real time. You doing your actions. I can't say that I agree with them. But at the same time, you are still that person who just played a mean girl or is playing a pick-me on stream. So then when you do this flip in real time, people are going to question it. It is what it is.
And they're within the rights to do it. Social media is a social playground.
Distinction of like, hey, if this is a monetized thing, it becomes something that is less authentic. I don't know.
I mean, it's a crazy economy. Get your bills paid.
I get that. But I think another reason why people are killing her is because of Brittany Renner. Yeah, Brittany Renner, similar situation as India Love, came up on IG when IG was just a photo taking app. They were doing the little booty poke. Hold on, let me do it. Let me do my stance.
Don't.
Hey, you got a booty on you, but your pants need to be a little tighter though.
Oh, my bad. The booty on sync. Side pose era,
a classic,
skimpy clothing, all that stuff like that. And then after her like infamous book where she like exposed Colin Kaepernick, which also was crazy, and then all the other football players, she went down this spiritual journey.
First of all, hi. So I'm currently cleaning house with the old and with the new, manifesting a new wardrobe, inshallah. I have no idea how this is gonna look.
Inshallah. Astaghfirullah. Anyways. This is all performance.
I have contractual obligations, clothes to wear, posts to do.
See the way she talks to PJ Washington.
And, showing up the best I can, right? Because I know that it's not going to be perfect. I know that people may have a gripe and my arms are out, right? First of all, it's hot, and then I sweat like a puddle under my armpits. Sure. Not an excuse, but looking into Botox under my arms, and finding clothes that are more aligned with where I'm headed, even if it's not to the book perfect. That's what this is all about for me, as I'm just gonna show up and give my best, and every day my best gets better.
First of all, happy Ramadan. But she left being
shout out my Muslims
because she's no longer with Kevin Gates, and now she's back on the Christian path.
Is Kevin Gates Muslim? Do we know that?
Clicks and views.
God, please guide our voices. Let nothing that we've been through be in vain, and that whoever needs to hear whatever needs to be shared through us, through the wisdom that you've gifted us, please use us, speak through us, and may our voices, may this video reach the people that need it the most. You know our intentions, cleanse our hearts, purify whatever feelings that are coming up so we can convey whatever messages you would like to use through us. Protect us through this process and just guide us.
So that's why people question what India Love, Brittany Renner, and whatever other young person who goes through any sort of change like this, if there is real validity behind it, if they actually have changed, if there's some sincerity behind it. Because what I do think is a little bit nasty, if I do have to be critical about somebody like a Brittany Renner, is that at some point we start playing with like religion. At some part we start playing with things that people take like crazy seriously. And I don't know if it's okay to have.
You don't want to play with the Muslim community, bro. They don't play.
Hijab through the crack of your booty. That just don't make sense to me.
Yeah, that's kind of critical. I feel like people that are religious play with religion all the time.
I judge them too.
I mean, this is kind of like a wild example, but look at Mia Khalifa, Middle Eastern and all that other stuff. Did videos where she was wearing the hijab and she literally got death threats because of that. She's doing like, quarantines in that. Absurd.
Cool. But just in general, using other people, like a Brittany Renner or a Drea Michelle or whoever.
You keep throwing Drea under the bus.
No, because, again, I don't know too much about Drea. The pieces that I do know, yeah, you're a problem. You're a problem. Again, I know bits and pieces about Brittany, and I really only know about her because of her partnership with Tiana Trump at some point.
You kind of gooned out, too, but okay. Indiana's finest. You kind of good.
How should know that?
It was really a a big thing.
Yeah, Danielle, nothing came out of it, but you're mad gooned out.
Okay. To judge anybody else based off of a Britney or a Dre, that doesn't make sense. Everybody, I promise, has their own individual journeys. And yet again, only women, and let me not say only women, only marginalized people receive this kind of criticism. Well, so-and-so did this, so you're probably going to do that too. Let it rest. That's unoriginal. Be creative at least with your criticism.
I mean, one of the biggest issues is that, like, the internet has a problem with people changing. We criticize, like, people for having arrested development, the people on the internet, the characters on the internet.
There are people out there that do suffer from arrested development, but also doesn't change the fact of, like, trying to turn over a new leaf, but trying to act like the past doesn't exist. Own up to it. Know that you've messed up. Take some accountability and responsibility over the stuff that you've done.
But the truth is that we as people, like, have arrested development. We get a snapshot of somebody.
Don't say we as a people.
Never want to let go of that image that they are. Whether it be somebody silly, whether it be somebody flirtatious, whether it be somebody aggressive, whether it be somebody always happy, we have a hard time seeing them in, like, different lights. Full stop. And I don't know what's going on in India Love for real. I'm not Omar Love. But but what I do know is, even if she did change, even if she did the work, even if she flipped her whole persona upside down and started wearing a full-on burlap sack, there's gonna be people on the internet that are saying, like, no, we seen when you was in the park with a man's finger down your pants, or we seen when you started the OnlyFans page, or we seen when all these other things happen, and they won't let it go.
Which, let me say this, is valid with conditions. And I do think India Love's situation is one of those conditions. I'm definitely team. I remember when you did this 3 years ago, and you said this is, listen, because people love to forget and rewrite some history. I'm gonna bring it up with receipts every time. The issue here is she was a child, period, and she was a victim.
Even if we take it up.
That's where I have to disagree. She was not a victim.
Off of the India Love situation, when do you think that you are willing to accept somebody on the internet changing? Let's say that somebody on the internet started their walk in, like, the manosphere or the red pill community, and then they've, did their 2-3 years there, and they've done the next 5 years of distancing themselves from that whole community. How do you know when they've, like, fully reinvented themselves where you can accept it to the point where you're like, that's not the first thing that comes up in your mind?
Never. If you started your walk in the manosphere, in the hate spaces and the hate pages, trust, for me, that's where you always gonna be, period. And
her ego won't let her see past that people can actually change. Like, for me, for example, I went through a red pill phase, watching Fresh and Fit, watching Alpha Male Strategies. You guys know if you guys been through that space. But I realized, like, that over consumes your mind and makes you think that women are one way, so it makes you kind of hold up a guard, and then you have to kind of act distant and act manipulative in a sense for them to like you. But then you kind of transcend that, like, you get through that valley of despair, and it's like a tier above being like incel hating all women, and then you go to a guy who just wants to, like, be a player and smash a bunch of girls, and then once you transcend that, you're like, all this shit doesn't matter, all this red pill ideology, like, yeah, there's some truth to it, but there's more to women than just, oh, they're hypergamous, oh, they're this and that. And owning up to it and actually changing, here's actually how you can tell. If someone actually says, I fucked up, I didn't have a mind of my own, and I was always listening to these people on the internet because I didn't have that guidance around me, doesn't excuse that behavior. And then you also acknowledge the behavior that you're displaying. And then after that, you see, and you ask yourself, what can you do better? What are some things that you can take away from the red pill that it actually, like, can help you, but also not make you see things as just a black and white type of thing? You know what I mean? It's a gray area. And that's the whole point of the red pill, was to just be the truth and just to, like, expose the uncomfortable truths about human nature, really.
I hope you turn over a new leaf and do all the things. Never will I not have that in the back of my mind. Now, if you start off saying sugar belongs in spaghetti and then your taste buds change, okay, great, high five, I believe you. But, like, on some real stuff, on some harmful things, I'll never forget it.
I do also want to know, like, all right, so if they do something publicly, but they decide to do the work to change privately, is that, that's a negative too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, 2 thumbs down. You thought you had it. Absolutely not.
Ultimately, I think that these people are going to change as time goes. People do forget, although it may not be India Love specifically today, but at one point in time,
if you have to announce that you change out loud in front of people, you probably didn't change. You're just doing it for validation purposes. Again, stop seeking validation from people off the internet, especially for stuff like this.
people start on the internet young. Wholeheartedly, most of these people start on the internet young and just trying to figure it out. People got to remember that the time that India Love or Brittany Renner or whoever else, a lot of these content creators started on the internet, it wasn't like monetization in this. It was the ability to get clicks, likes, and views, and then also a passion project. And so now that like money has trickled in, it's gotten a little bit more nasty based off of that, and they kind of want to distance themselves. People can change. We'll go from 16 to 32, and whoa, breaking news, hot take, they're a new person.
Whoa.
Most people don't know that.
Which again, one would hope. Even.
Yeah, one would hope that you're the same person. I'm gonna be honest with you. Again, no, it's not her fault. I'm happier seeing India Love on this track than seeing 32-year-old India Love.
It is her responsibility, though.
In the park with another man. I don't know. I'm happier seeing Brittany Renner try to not have her booty cheeks, front facing at the age of 45, as opposed to. But I say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm happy to see Nat Reed. I don't know. I'm happy to see people do stuff in their early 20s.
There is a literacy crisis.
Not do the same thing.
She ain't wrong.
That shouldn't be a scorching hot take. There really shouldn't be a hot take that I'm like happy to see people grow. And I'm okay with the internet documenting it, simply due to the fact that like people feel like you can't change. Like in real life.
No, you could definitely change. Change is definitely possible, but you have to be the change that you want to see. And that starts with not looking for validation from people outside of yourself. And that's by taking accountability and responsibility. Matter of fact, let's look at the differences so I know I'm using the words right. Accountability and responsibility. Difference. Responsibility first refers to the duty to perform tasks or actions often assigned and can be shared among many. Accountability is the ultimate non-negotiable obligation to answer for the outcomes, consequences, and results of those actions. While responsibility focuses on the process of doing the work, accountability focuses on the final result, typically held by a single person. Only person that can change that is India herself. No one else is going to validate her. No one else is going to save her. She has to do it for herself. W video by Omizi. If you guys like what I had to say, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe because it helps the channel grow. Leave a comment if you agree or disagree with Omizi or even myself. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.